Good day, Father Matt Williams here in my parked car. I hope you're well. Special message to my brothers and sisters who are from Our Lady of Hope in Ipswich, who are heading into Boston for a day of service, who are on their Hunger for Justice 30-hour famine retreat experience. God bless you, and prayers for you this weekend. It's so awesome what you're about to do, and I know you're really hungry right now and probably a little tired, and but it's all worth it. And thank you for your powerful witness and for all that you're doing. Keep going. You can do it. You can do it. All things are possible with the grace of God. Saint Maximilian Kolbe, who was a Franciscan, he died in around 1940 or so. I forget the exact year. He was a martyr of love at Auschwitz. He gave his life for a man who was chosen by the Nazis to be killed as a punishment for somebody who had escaped from one of the concentration camps, and Maximilian Kolbe took his place, and they put him in a starvation bunker, and after a few weeks he was close to death, but he hadn't died, and they injected him with carbolic acid, and he ultimately died. But during the whole time of that experience, he was singing and praising the Lord, praying and inviting and encouraging the men around him to do the same and building them up. So he's known as a martyr of charity. One of his quotes that I came across about a couple weeks ago struck me deeply, and it's this. He says, "The most deadly poison of our times is indifference." The most deadly poison of our times is indifference. And think about that. Indifference, what does that mean? Like the lack of interest in another, the lack of concern for another, not valuing others as important. And maybe the reason why indifference reigns so much in our culture today is because we think too much about ourselves first instead of the good of another. And so Maximilian Kolbe counteracts that, right, by the witness of his love. He's a martyr for charity. He gave his life for another man, right, so that this man who had a family could hopefully live and survive the concentration camps and make it out one day, and which I think he did. So if the greatest poison of our society today is indifference, then the remedy, the antidote has to be love. And guess what? You're the remedy. You are part of that remedy. In a culture of indifference that we live in today, you're the remedy. And the remedy is love. Jesus, on the night of the resurrection, when he showed up in the upper room, even though the doors were locked, he said to them, "As the Father has sent me, so I send you." So I want you to hear those words from Jesus today. As the Father has sent him, so Jesus is sending you. He is sending you to go out and be the remedy for a culture of indifference. And how do you provide the remedy? It's love. It's love. It's treating each and every person and receiving each and every person, as best as we can, as a unique, unrepeatable gift from God. That every person in this world is a gift from God. The world has never seen this person again and will never see this person again until the kingdom of heaven comes. That every person is gift and is deserving of love. Every person that you and I encounter is created in God's image and likeness, has been redeemed by the blood of the Lamb. Jesus died for them. He shed his blood for them. And they are called to be with him forever. Every person matters. Every person is special to God. Now, you and I know we can't handle and solve all of the problems of the world today. We can't overturn all the unjust structures of the world today. We can't solve the world problem of hunger and disease. But you know what? We can love. And we can respond to how God is calling us to love, how God is calling us to use our unique gifts in service to others. We can make a difference. But the focus is love. Love must always be the focus. It always has to be love. The remedy for indifference, the culture of indifference, is love. You carry a gift of God's love in you. You're created in love, and you're called to give that love to others. I love this story. John Paul II, he's now a saint, right? Pope St. John Paul II. He's one of my heroes. I love this story. So Jason Everett, national chastity speaker, tells a story that when he was a teen, getting ready to go to World Youth Day in Rome, this is back in 2000, Jason Everett's from San Diego, his bishop, so he was gathered with all the youth of his diocese, and the bishop came and gave a talk, getting them excited to go to World Youth Day to meet millions of people from all around the world and encounter John Paul II. And the bishop told this story about John Paul II. The bishop said that when he went to Rome for his ad limina visit, and the ad limina visit is every, I think, about 4 or 7 years, the bishops from dioceses around the world, they go to meet with the Pope. So basically, from the Pope's perspective, every month he's meeting bishops from around the world on their ad limina visit. So this bishop in San Diego at the time, this is going back, 14 years ago, was saying that he went to visit John Paul II for his ad limina visit. And when he shook John Paul's hand in the initial greeting, John Paul II looked at him and said, "I know you." And the bishop's like, "Holy Father, thank you so much, but we don't know each other. We've never met before." And then John Paul looked at him again and looked more deeply and said, "No, I know you. I've met you before." And the bishop's like, "Holy Father, I'm sorry, but this is my first ad limina. It's the first time we've ever met. We've not met before." And then they talked about other things, and before their real big meeting, the bishop was doing something, and the Holy Father's secretary comes up to him, Monsignor Jivitz at the time, and the Monsignor says to the bishop, he says, "If the Holy Father says you've met him, you have met him, so stop fighting it." And the bishop's like, "I've not met him. What do you want me to do?" So at their next meeting, as he goes to meet and have his formal conversation with the Holy Father looks at him and he says, "I know it. 1963, during the time of the Second Vatican Council, I was coming out of this particular Church of the Jesu with some people, and you were going in with some people, and we met on the steps, and we spoke for a few minutes on the front steps." And the bishop I think he was horrified and then amazed at the same time, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, I remember that encounter. Yes, we did meet, Holy Father. I'm so sorry." Isn't that amazing? Now I want you to understand something. Why does John Paul II remember this? Because John Paul II, he wrote about this extensively, and he believed it, and he lived it. He believed that every person was a unique, unrepeatable gift, a masterpiece from God, and that every person was special, created specially by God, loved specially by God, and called to be with God forever, and had gifts to give to the world. John Paul believed that every time he met a person, he could be changed. John Paul, when he met a person, he received that person as a gift and treated them as a gift. And in doing that, he gave a gift of himself. Jesus says, "As the Father has sent me, so I send you." Jesus comes as a gift from the Father to give himself as a gift of love for us. You are called to go forth and to give your life as a gift of love for others, to be able to counteract the culture of indifference through love. Every person you meet from now for the rest of your life is a unique, unrepeatable masterpiece from God, and is worthy of love, is worthy of being treated with the utmost respect. You are going to encounter God in our brothers and sisters, my friends. You're going to encounter God in so many people today. A masterpiece, a gift. Receive them with the gift that God has given them. And in doing that, out of tender love, you will give them a gift greater than any food you could ever give them, or socks, or anything else you could ever give them today. You are giving them the love of Jesus. You are giving them their dignity, or rather, you are recognizing their dignity, because you are countering indifference with love. God bless you.